Hello, friends. Steve here. It was a powerful day for me today. A day of some rel- um, some opening, energy opening, and I think in a number of my videos I've talked about how last Thursday, which was the last session of my Ancestor Healing Codes course. It was a 5-month course. There were 10 sessions with downloads from mystic trauma therapist Thomas Hubel, and there were 8 integration sessions. So we'd have a download session, we'd process the thoughts and energies that came through Thomas, and then we'd have an integration time with other class members in groups of 3. So they're called triads. And what we did in the triads was we each had 10 minutes to just download information about ourselves to the other 2. And they weren't meant to do anything with that information other than hold the space for the individual in the triad to download this information and process. So it was really fabulous and really useful to have 2 people really listening without interrupting you. I mean, it's hard to find that in the world in these days, from my experience. And I've talked about since then, so it was 6 days ago, and I'm just going to check on microphone, turn it up just a little bit. I like it. I find if it's halfway up on the volume, then people can actually turn it up on their instrument, their computer. So I've had 7 days. I had last Thursday to process what was going on, and then, today was the 7th day of on many levels a difficult experiential week. And I don't think I need to go into any of the details of it. I will say that I was really working with a lot of disappointment energy on Thursday, because as in a course, excuse me, thought it was going to be a sneeze, but it was a yawn. In the course on Thursday, okay, so I'm going to just interrupt that train of thought, see if I can get back on that train in a minute, but I was just told set up the healing field, so I'm going to set up the healing field. So what I suggest you do is state out loud, I connect to my deep self. I connect to my higher self. Connect to my highest self. I ground myself to the healing center of the earth. I open myself to the healing power of the One. I release anything not useful to me now. And if you wish support for your healing journey with the 7th dimensional beings, the Hathors, you can state, I choose to work with the Hathors. And they know exactly what they can do to help you and assist you, basically to let go of the vibration you're holding on to and open up to a higher vibration for yourself that will be more in keeping with your soul journey. That's what they've done with me for, I don't know, somewhere between 14 and 20 years. I really can't remember. They weren't around in, I think that I was writing about my experiences with them. I can remember writing about my experience with them in 2004. So that would make it 21 years that I've been working with them, and it's been very useful. Okay. So I ask that we be placed in a field of protection while we do this work. I ask the higher self to take us through the portal of time to the event that would be of the highest good to release and integrate at this time. And I invite all souls to return to the event to release and integrate the energy of the event for themselves. And I ask that they be placed in a field of protection while they do their work. And upon arrival at the event, I ask the higher self to assist all of us to release and integrate all energies of the event gently and easily, fully and completely, on all levels and through all space and time. Okay, so the healing field is initiated, and so you can experience things go on, whatever it is you experience. The idea is if you notice something contracted that kind of feels kind of intense for you, allow yourself to put a very gentle, so as an observer of your own process, put on a very gentle observation, compassionate curiosity in terms of that energy that feels like it's stuck, which is actually you on some level holding on to this energy as a protective mechanism. And if it is safe enough right now for you to stop protecting that part of you and let that part come back to life, by letting go of those energies that it held for you because you weren't able to handle them at the time they happened. Now you are now not that 2-year-old or 5-year-old or 13-year-old or whenever the event took place. You are not that anymore. That part of you is still there, but you are whoever you are now. So you are a mature, somewhat awake. All of us are somewhat awake. We could be more awake, but we're somewhat awake. We're somewhat present. Mature observers of this contracted energy that we're contracting. So as we find this energy, oftentimes it's in the center of the chest, sometimes it's in the throat, sometimes it's anywhere in the body. But I'm going to demonstrate it here because this is where I feel it right now. When we feel this contracted energy, we don't have to name it. We can just feel it. And we can feel it as a mature witness for that part of us that holds the trauma. And we can feel loving kindness towards that part of us who at that young age went through that experience. And we can invite it to release that energy now because we can handle it as it comes out. So we invite it to release that energy now and come out of holding that energy to keep us safe, because it obviously was holding that energy for however long, whenever that took place, and however many years later it is now, that part of you had the resources to hold that for that long. So it's a very resourceful part. We think of this damaged child, and it's okay, there was damage that took place to many of us as children from various things, and many of them be similar, many of them be very different. But if we felt damaged by the experience, then it was a trauma. And if we're still holding on to the energies, then it's still a trauma until we release those energies. But know that a mature self is assisting your whatever age child it is. Kitty's getting rambunctious. She's running around the room and running across, and that's Jules. She used to steal jewelry from people's rooms when she was very small, and we named her Jules before we found out she was a jewel thief. But we now can hold a space for ourselves for these uncomfortable feelings. We're mature enough, we've worked with enough fear, enough grief, enough anger that we can just hold a space while this supposedly less mature part of us, but obviously a very resourceful part of us that's been able to hold this energy. Let's say you're a person who's 74 years old and this was a birth trauma. So you've held it for 74 years. And that's resourceful. Waiting for the mature part of you to get mature enough to hold a space so that that part of you can release those energies without freaking you out. So that part of you releases those energies and you can feel them. If you're doing this, then you can feel them releasing and then they're just released. It is getting that easy. That's one of the good parts of the change in the world that's taken place since the completion of the 28-year cycle of cleansing, which was March 24th of 2025. And it's been a couple weeks now, maybe, a little bit over 2 weeks. And I didn't know what to expect. I didn't know really what was going to happen. After the cleansing process was complete, I'm now beginning to recognize what is happening, and I can talk a little bit about that. Just now you let go of those energies. Was it you, the mature self, that let go of those energies, or was it you, the child, or the teenager, or the 20, 30, 40-year-old that let go of those energies? It just doesn't matter. Once you let go of those energies, and I mean when you really let go of them right from that core place, where those energies were just attached to that core, and you let go of them from that core place, there's no place for them to go back to, because that place where they held is no longer there. So those energies are no longer held. That's powerful. So since the 24th, there was a bit of action on the 23rd and on the 25th, a bit of energy downloads. And I'm going to need to grab a tissue, so I'll be right back. Okay, there was some galactic activation portals. There was one on the 24th, and there was one on the 25th. And there hasn't been a lot. There may have been a lot going on for you. There's been a lot going on for me, but there haven't been a lot of galactic activation portals or auspicious days of Pakal Votan, the Mayan prophet from 603 to 683. But we're coming into a time when there's going to be more activations going on. What are these activations? Well, they're described as opening of our genetic potential. So these activation days are days where energy streams in through the crown chakra, through the galactic records, the Akashic records. They're contained within our spinal cord and our spine. And those are the records of our life and the records of our ancestry down to our life and the records of the larger world as contained within our individual records. But they're universal records. It is complex to me. And if it's not complex to you, I bow to you. But it's complex to me. I understand it, but it's complex. Okay, so yesterday was a blue lunar eagle. And a blue eagle is about expanding out, seeing the bigger perspective, not be so lost in this narrow little view of like, I see it this way and it doesn't look good, and I'm only seeing this, I'm not seeing this. Looking that way. I know I'm still looking straight ahead, but just looking around, looking from above, looking from below, feeling that all the energies, just not the one that you're focusing on. Feeling the bigger energies, feeling your connection to this higher realm. When you say, I connect to my highest self. See how those energies feel when you say that. When you say, I connect to the healing power of the one. Just see how that feels to you. Do you feel connected to the one or the oneness or the source of all or the I am that I am? Do you feel that connection? Does your crown chakra feel open? Do you feel those higher vibrational energies coming down through your system? It's useful when you do, and it's uncomfortable when you don't. I know both sides. So last Thursday was the 10th and final session of the Ancestor Healing Code course. And I went into it really feeling like, okay, I'm just going to open up during the meditation. I'm going to open up during the download of information. I'm going to really connect to the collective that's working with these energies. And I totally went, and I totally locked up. And I'm like, oh no, oh no, oh no. This is the last download. You can possibly have these fears is, oh, if I miss this, I missed it. And it's never going to come again. And I'll lose that possibility of transformation that I would have had in that moment had I been open. And hooey. It's just hooey. This is a lifetime. This is experience after experience. Some of them you can handle, some of them you can't. The ones you can't handle, you put aside for later. And the ones that you can handle, you stay present with and you handle them. But when you can't stay present, you honor that. Like, oh, this is too much for me. I need to not necessarily work with these energies too consciously right now because they're too much for me. That is intelligence. I'm just telling you. You have made it this far. If you have done the work, which you wouldn't be watching my channel unless you had done the work, because the vibe's too high for people who haven't done the work. Like, we're running some big energies here. And many people recognize the size of the energies we are working with. Because you're working with the energies that I've been trained lifetimes, and in this lifetime, more than any other lifetime, how to work with these big energies. And you're staying with me many of you. So just pat yourself on the back. Good job. You can feel some compassion for me in this lifetime because of this has been my work. And and I'm not going to complain about it. I chose this. And has it been an easy life? I would say yes for this reason, because I've always done what I wanted to do and not done what I was told to do. And so because of that, it has been an easy life because there's just been nobody in my way from my perception from incarnation through to now. There's been anybody that has appeared in my way, I've just gone around them and carried on and gone off and done what my soul compelled me to do. So I was compelled to move up from Southern to Northern California and live on a startup vineyard and become great friends with the person that was starting the vineyard and become very close with that person and learn how to do all sorts of things while I was living there for a couple of years on the top of a mountain. And I started a really major part of my spiritual practice, meditative practice, while living in a cabin that I was paying $25 a month for. And it had electricity. And it had a wood stove. So I could stay warm in the wintertime. And I had a dog for a good portion of the winter. And then somebody else wanted the dog so bad, I let them have it. It was going to be better off with them. And not becoming more and more wild the longer it lived outside of the woods. It was getting pretty wild. It was a Irish setter. And it was a wild dog. I liked it very much. Okay, so I just lived on this spiritual community growing wine grapes. I mean, that was the intention, and we never got as far as to actually get grapes, but we had grape plants planted, and we had grapes growing up vines and spreading across and doing all sorts of things. It just takes, I think, about 4 or 5 years for it to produce grapes, and we never got that far. And then the next people that bought the property grew kiwi trees. So there went the grapes. And I guess they couldn't plant the kiwi trees between the grapes, which would have been great, because then they could have grapes growing up the kiwi trees. But anyway, I think they just, with the grapes and with the kiwi trees came in and grapes went out. But I just continued. The next thing was to go to haircutting school. The next thing was to become a really good hair cutter in the Los Angeles area so I could pay my way through chiropractic college. So the next thing was to go to chiropractic college. And while I was at chiropractic college, I learned that it was much easier to make money as a waiter than it was as a hair cutter. So I became a really excellent waiter and got really good gigs and made pockets full of money while I was going to chiropractic college so I could pay my rent and pay for my food and not go into really severe debt from the expenses of housing and food and all those things, and chiropractic college, which got more and more expensive every term I was there. So, has my life been easy? Yes, because I didn't see things in my way. I just saw my way. And I saw things that it was easier to just go around on my way. Has it been challenging? Consistently challenging. Every day of my life has been challenging. I'm a better person because of that. And I continue to be challenged. I continue to be challenged to change. And I think it's best if you know the importance of change. Because right now, if you're not willing to change, there's a possibility that you'll be very uncomfortable. And when I'm stuck, I'm very uncomfortable. So in that final session, that 10th session last Thursday with Thomas Hubel, the Ancestral Healing Code course, I was stuck. I was terribly uncomfortable. It took me the entire day, which isn't bad, but it took me an entire day to come out of that discomfort and let things open back up again. And I think I talked about it in another video 2 days ago. I was awoken at 3:33. I looked at the clock, there's 3:33. Then I was awoken at 4:44, and I was awoken at 5:55. They want to keep me in track, that they're keeping me aware that they're working with me. And I'm aware, I'm hearing them tell me how to deal with the situations I was dealing with. And in the lucid dream state, they're showing me how to hold a mature space while feeling terror. And the terror was from an experience that I had when I was in utero, when I was inside the uterus at a fetus, just attempting to grow my body, and there were forces that were attempting to stop me from growing that body. And I locked that terror into my nerve system. And then I had um, alcohol consumed in a high dose in attempts to get me out. Didn't work. I had a person carrying me, my mother, fall down some steps on me, all the way to the bottom of the steps, which turned me upside down, which caused me to be a foot first birth. And you say, how do you know all these things? I did regressions to all of it. I've gone back to conception. I've gone lots of places that we can go once you know how to do it. And sometimes you don't even know how you know how to do it, which is the case with me. Okay. This is becoming a download, and that's fine. You can shut it off anytime you want. Two mornings ago, in a dream world, I woke up. I didn't wake up. I was in a lucid dream, and my instructors, nighttime instructors, were teaching me how to hold a space for terror. And they just encouraged me. And it went on, this process for about 2 hours. I went through terror. I went through rage that was stuck in my system, and grief that was stuck in my system, and betrayal that was stuck in my system. I went through those, let them go, let them go, let them go. Let my entire nerve system, in terms of what I knew of the rocks in my system, the blocks in my system, release, many of them. And I felt like I went into this place of neural integration at the core of my being. It was a powerful experience, and it led up to my being able to be present in a healing session for another who did the same thing and took it a bit further. So this is what happens with healing. If you determine that you're a healing person because you've done a lot of healing with yourself and you're good at assisting other people to heal just by being present with them, well, yeah, we let go of that. Okay. What happens, though, if you put it out there that you are a healer and people call you to have appointments for you to assist them to heal, and they give you money for doing it, and you show up and do assist them to do what they're attempting to do, you have some skills and you have some abilities to be present, and you're getting better at it all the time. And so you hold this space, and magical, magical, magical things can take place and do. So I did a session with a person that I've been working with for over 20 years. Yeah, over 20 years. Because I think the son is 28 now. And when he first started coming in and getting adjusted with me, he was 4. So it's 24 years ago. And his mother and I have worked on each other for longer than that, because I was working with her for a few years before. So I'm going to say 26 years, maybe 28 years, maybe for the whole cycle of the cleansing. We've been working together, but at least 26 years. And we had a session, and it just went beyond what either of us had experienced before. And as a result of that, she recommended to another person that what they were working with, I might be able to help them work with. And they had an appointment with me, and they just took it beyond anything, really, literally anything that I experienced before. Just cleared the thing. And as a result, I'm neurologically that much more present today in this video. I'm just more here, and I've been pretty here, but I watch myself in the videos. After I make them, I watch myself and I go, oh yeah, you're not quite there as you are at other times. And we vary in terms of our presence, in terms of our state of presencing, which is an action. Being present is presencing. It's an action of being present. It's not a noun, I'm present. It's a verb, I'm presencing. I'm actively involved in being present with you right now. And you can feel it. You can feel my being present with you. And you can feel if you're being present with me. And we're working with some energies together. So we set up these healing fields and we work with these energies together. And when you go back to these events on a soul level, I'm back there with you on a soul level. And if there's 100,000 of us back there, I'm there with that group on a soul level, doing the work with the group. Because we are a team, and I spell it TIAM. So, I'm not so interested in... So today is April 9th. It's Wednesday, April 9th, but I'm making this video with the idea that it's going to come in on the 10th. So, but I'm going to just talk briefly about Yellow Warrior. Briefly, because that's today and that's what we've already done. Today it is the Yellow Warrior is about the South. It's about ripening. It's about all that transformation coming into a ripe state. It's related to the throat, which to me the throat relates to speaking our truth or holding our grief. The 3 words associated with the Yellow Warrior are questions, intelligence, and fearlessness. And according to Chögyam Trungpa Rinpoche, I think Buddhist monk, discovering fearlessness comes from working with the softness of the human heart. Learning to work with the softness of the human heart is what brings us to a state of fearlessness. I really understood when I was releasing the terror, the statement, the only thing to fear is fear itself. And when you don't fear the energy of fear, which is just a contraction of your life force, when you don't fear that, you release that contraction and you release that life force. You're not releasing fear. Fear is the contraction and the holding of energies from an overwhelming event. When you release that, it's not fear. It was fear when you held it. When you release it, it's life force. It's the running of the stream. It's the turning on of the tap. It's the movement of your energy. That's what the Yellow Warrior is about. And tomorrow is Red Earth. And I'm going to go back and just make sure that I'm following this correctly. Yellow Warrior to Red Earth. So this is going to be, when you get this video, it's going to be tomorrow. It's going to be today. It's going to be the 10th of April. And the Red Earth is about evolving. It's about navigating. And it's about synchronicity. And I love this quote. I don't always get it right, but when I read it, I get it right. Synchronicity is how we experience telepathy. My wife had an intuition that it would be useful for her to take the ferry across to the Olympic Peninsula. And when she goes over to this town called Port Townsend, she averages 4 to 5 miles of walking up and down hills. So she gets tremendous amount of exercise. And it costs $4 round trip for seniors to take a half-hour ferry ride each way. And you don't have to take your car. You just take the ferry. It drops you off on the edge of town. You just walk into town, and then you just walk as far and as long as you want and just get on a later ferry and head back. She had this feeling like, I should go to Port Townsend. So she did. And she did many of the things she likes to do. She goes up and gets a latte at this wonderful little market that has wonderful, the person who roasts the coffee has a little latte place within the market and has really highly trained staff that make it for you. And so it's the best coffee that we feel like we can get so far in the state of Washington, which, makes a lot of good coffee and some bad coffee. Well, she gets over there and she's got this friend who she and her partner own a native trading post. Now her partner is Lakota, and he makes drums and rattles and all sorts of cool stuff. And she makes a lot of beading and jewelry, and she is not genetically native, but she's lived with this native man for many years and has been in the tradition. So, you don't necessarily need to be genetically native to live within the native spirituality. So anyway, my wife went in to visit her, and they have these hour-long conversations in their trading post. Sometimes hours-long conversations. And she said to her, "This is so amazing." She said, "Yesterday, I sent you a message. I needed to talk with you. And here today, you show up." Synchronicity is how we experience telepathy. I sent you a message. I needed to speak with you. and today you show up. And this is tomorrow, that or today that you're reading this, but it was today, Wednesday today, April 9th today, and tomorrow it'll be April 10th, Thursday, April 10th today. And you'll be hearing about this. So red earth, and I think it's interesting, red earth. In some ways, the symbol of the red man, the native man, the indigenous man and woman, the indigenous people of this nation. That's a color that they represent. It's the color of the earth. And red is about the East, about the initiation. And it's about the heart. And it's about evolving and navigating and synchronizing. So as a synchronized whole system, Earth, that place that you're physically an aspect of, you're like a human plant. Earth is a conscious, sentient being, an integral member of the larger galactic community. Humanity, as a unique part of this living system, belongs to the Earth. And our collective evolution is a shared journey in time. Living in resonance with the Earth, honoring Gaia's magic in our heart, we maintain a mutual connection that feeds our spirit and informs our navigation. When we live, I'm reading this again, when we live in resonance with the earth, and we're honoring Gaia, one name for the earth, Gaia's magic in our heart, we maintain a mutual connection that feeds our spirit and informs our navigation. I think I'll just go over to Port Townsend today and take a walk. We exchange the power of healing and support when we consciously affirm our unity. We are one. We just consciously affirm that. You are an aspect of the I Am presence. I am an aspect of the I Am presence. We are an aspect of the oneness. Synchronicity is born of timing. Life's natural time expresses itself as the synchronic order, everything in sync. The galactic ordering dynamic, which coordinates the unfolding of all events as one cosmic expression of now. Synchronicity is constantly happening, yet to be aware of it requires deep mindfulness, sensitivity to the subtle nuances. By combining devotion to the present moment with attention to the harmonic codes of time, ancestral healing codes, our sense of navigation evolves, keen to direction furnished by every clue. We can fully trust in the scheme of synchronicity. Synchronicity is how we experience telepathy. What we need to see, we will see. What we need to know at any moment will be revealed. At this juncture of evolution, we are evolving. Even though it looks like we're devolving, on some levels, some things are devolving and other things are evolving. And if you take the first 4 letters of evolution, which is EVOL, and you write that backwards, it's LOVE. This is loveolution. All planetary citizens are called forth. All planetary citizens are called forth to participate in shifting our collective consciousness, that we may set a new course of action, one which aspires to heal the biosphere by functioning in harmony with nature. Ultimately, Earth's fate is our fate. We are one Earth, one time, one people. Let us together navigate our collective evolution in conscious synchronization with the living Earth force. That is your Mayan calendar reading, and it's a good one. I liked it while it was happening. Usually I like it later. When I'm listening to it later, I'm like, oh, that's really interesting. Yeah. So this will be available to you on Thursday, April 10th, which is the day of the Red Earth. So enjoy working with those energies. And we're coming to the end of the 20-day cycle of solar kin. So today was a yellow warrior. The 10th, tomorrow, Thursday, when you're watching this, is a red earth. Friday is a white mirror. Saturday is a blue storm. Sunday is a yellow sun. Synchronized time. Time in sync. Our lives in sync with time. Time in sync with our lives. This energy is flowing through us, and we're responding to it. And we're getting a sense of, no, that isn't what I need to be doing right now, it's this. Oh, and then this happens. That's paying attention to the moment. Okay, that's it for the Mayan calendar reading. All we need to do is finish up this event that we went back to. So I asked the higher self to assist all the souls that return to this event to combine with that part of their soul that had remained at the event and bring that combined soul back into the body in present time with all of its wisdom, power, and clarity, compassion, creativity, and kindness. With joy and peace, I ask that all the souls ground themselves in the healing center of the earth and open up the portal for the delivery of the new energies into the earth at this time. And I ask that these new energies be brought into the earth now. And they're getting really lovely. They've always been lovely, the energies coming in, but they're getting so lovely. And we ask that those energies be activated. And I let the universe and beyond know that this has been done and that it's good. All right, thank you so much for participating in these healing fields, these completions of unresolved events out of the past, so that we can bring all the resources, of our lives into the present, and then create the future out of our being present. Now let's go.